All right, y'all, it's the time you've been waiting for. That's right, we're jumping in to take a look at the Wizards Pistons box score from the Summer League. As you can see, Cookie 0 and 5 had a great game with 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Shot 6 for 11 and 2 for 5 from 3. I'm fucking with y'all. It's time for Prague. All right, jumping into the 76ers. Plus 2 to Brandon Roy, very impressive. Bringing up to an 86 overall at age 30. Part of that might have been a position change. Equally shocking is a minus 2 to 24-year-old Serge Ibaka. Don't know how to explain that one. Perhaps he was doing better at center. But yeah, kind of all over the place results here for the 76ers. Plus 2 to Chandler Parsons. That shows that he was a pretty good add-on acquisition for the 76ers. Ton of green for the Bucks here. First and foremost, pay no mind to the plus 13 here to Jabari Parker. That seems to be a bug just because he had to be a fixed player where I had to re-upload over someone because it wasn't allowing me to draft the uploaded version of Jabari Parker that we had prior to the draft. So he's just coming in as an 81, but still great for a 19-year-old. 82 plus 5 for Chris Middleton. That is huge for them. Very much justifies the acquisition of moving Victor Oladipo, the former second overall pick, for him. Plus 3 to Evan Fournier, plus 2 to Alex Len. Looks quite good. For the Bulls, plus 2 to Rondo. Great news for Chimmy, as well as plus 2 to Armin Johnson. I think that plus 2 to Rondo is also probably being affected by the changed position because he was a shooting guard in Golden State. The Cavs get a plus 1 to Harden, bringing him up to a 95 overall. He's probably now a top 10 player in the league. Minus 1 to Paul Millsap at age 29 is not a great sign, and neither is only plus 1 to Jimmy Butler, but, you know, this team is still doing great things. Plus 2 to Nikola Mirotic and plus 2 to Anthony Randolph shows that the extension was a good decision. Wow, some all over the place results for the St. Vincent St. Mary Fighting Irish. LeBron James minus 1 as well as Tim Duncan. That's crazy for LeBron. Bradley Beal plus 3, and I know that we were concerned about Damian Lillard because I sent the roster to Locke earlier, but before we actually hit Prague, it seems like he's fine. He got a plus 3. Minus 1 to Kevin Martin isn't too bad either. Shout out Tyson Wesley with a good attribute game. And for the Grizz, you know, modest plus 1 to Antoine Humphreys. Minus 2 to Caron Butler, but I mean, he's 34, so that's to be expected. Hey, shout out plus 3 to Trey Burke. That's pretty good for them. And a modest plus 2 to THJ. For the Hawks, we have plus 2 to Anthony Davis. No Prague for Kawhi, which is kind of crazy. I guess he had some boost to his attributes, so, you know, hopefully there's going to be more of a boost that comes in a future season. I'm not giving up on him. Plus 1 to Monroe and Beverly. That should be good for them. Minus 2 to Corey Brewer. That's pretty crazy at only age 28. And minus 2 to Pietrus. This has not included the trade that happened last night that sends him to the Suns for free. The Heat, minus 1 to Kevin Durant. That's nuts. Minus 2 to Bynum at age 26. Wow. We have a lot of younger players with some regression. That is some crazy stuff. Part of it may be real. Part of it may just be bad RNG. Who knows? I remember we had a minus 1 to Al Horford earlier in the league, but he ended up recouping from that. So, you know, sometimes you just get some bad luck. The Hornets, just a minus 1 to Joe Johnson. That's great for them. Minus 1 to Varejao. Plus 1 to Tony Parker. That's amazing, despite his physicals going down. Wilson Chandler, Xavier Henry, Terrence Ross, Sean Williams. They're in the early stages of a rebuild and curious to see which of their pieces they sell off next. But, you know, some good prog otherwise. They're entering the dark ages with no picks, so they'll have a difficult situation to navigate. Another plus 1 to Paul George up to a 92 overall. It's great for him. Stuckey up to an 88. Things are looking good in Utah. For the Kings, another plus 2 to Boogie. Whew! 93 overall. Probably a top, 2 or 3 center now. Shout out plus 2 to Alec Burks. That's pretty good for them. Good amount of green for the Knicks. Well, plus 2 to Rudy Gay. Plus 1 to Monta Ellis. Boyamat Ali +2. No longer in OKC, but still wearing blue and orange. Cody Zeller +3. Austin Rivers +2. KCP +3. Some good results for C-Man. Lakers +1 to Kobe. That's crazy. After his just nutty shooting season last season, that kind of makes sense. Caspi +1. However, quite a bit of red otherwise. Lamar Odom down, that's to be expected. Hasheem Thabeet down, that's kind of crazy. Jameer Nelson down is unfortunate, as well as Nene. They're both on the wrong side of 30, but, still wasn't expecting that. And a -2 to Kevin Garnett, their newer acquisition. But his defense remains intact, which is really what matters for them. For the Magic, they get a +1 to Kevin Love, so they now have 290 overalls. Very impressive stuff. Curious to see if they have a 4th consecutive appearance in the finals. Iggy, Rubio, and Biyombo all go +1 as well. Man, the Magic run of contention continues. Mavericks +3 to Dennis Schroeder. That's great news for him, considering he had the double rookie bonus that happened in his incoming rookie events last season. T-Mac down. Kenneth Faried down by 3. What the hell? Only age 25. That is devastating. The Nets +1 to George Hill, +2 to Bertans. -3 to Billups, but he's 37. That's to be expected. Down to a 78. Whew. Man, he was an all-star first season. How the tides have turned. -3 to Richard Jefferson. -2 to Zaza at only age 30. That's too bad. But they are thick in the rebuild now. The Nuggies +4 to Draymond Green. Whew. Look out. We may have a new top team in the West. That is huge for them. -1 to Derrick Rose. Kind of crazy, but no major changes to his attributes. So more or less can be ignored, I'd say. +2 to Jay Crowder is good for them. Down to Jermaine O'Neal and Mike Miller, but they're just deep bench veterans for them anyway. For the Pacers, +1 to Wes Matthews is good. Cristiano Ronaldo now switching sports and is an 80 overall, officially a serviceable role player for the Pacers. +3 to Dion Waiters. Yeah, things are looking up for them. After their acquisition of Jokic in the offseason, they may be able to turn around a rather mid team. The Pels, -1 to Danny Granger is unfortunate, but not too bad. Pretty modest changes. Mozgov up 1. Douglas and Evans up 1. Wasn't expecting him to progress. 26 and really not that good of a player. The Pistons, +2 to Vooch is great. +3 to Ben McLemore. Modest increase in Nick Young. Reggie Jackson. Good results for Gord. The Raptors, +3 to Jonas, +2 to Harrison Barnes, +4 to Anthony Bennett. Amazing progression for him. Man, yeah, he is now a defensive threat. Perhaps not the bust that he was in real life. Who's this Tucker? Yeah, Jared Tucker. That's great, a +3 for him. At only age 20. The rebuild is looking good for them. For the Rockets, +1 to John Wall, our former MVP. So Kyrie Irving had his natural progression as well as the repeater tax event that brought him down -3. So I think that he was brought down to an 89 prior to Prague, and then now Pragued up 1. Favors up to an 86. PJ Tucker up to at age 29 is amazing. Henson +3. Quentin Carl and Keon Toscano. Some good draft picks. Toby +4. Whoo! The boost to his potential is finally showing, and the Spurs are looking up. -1 to Eric Bledsoe is a little bit unfortunate, but +1 to Marc Gasol at age 29 is great. And +2 to Facundo Campazzo. +4 to Jeremy Grant. Oh boy. Oh, I think a lot of that is because we had um, he had the conflicting events, one that decreased his potential and one that increased his overall. So that reflects that. The Suns, with only 6 players signed, crazy. They got a modest boost to Gortat and Marshall, as well as Sanders. Supersonics -1 to West, Wallace, and Okafor, 3 other signings, +4 to Gobert. AK-47 down to a 78. Wild. Likewise, this +10 to Glenn Robinson. That is also because there was the bug trying to draft the original imported Glenn Robinson, and so I had to upload over the 65 overall or whatever player that took his place. So pay no mind to that. He's just coming in as a 75 overall rookie, which is what he should have been. For the Thunder, +3 to Ortiz is awesome. +3 to CJ McCollum as well. +1 to Farmar. Timberwolves +4 to both Giannis and Drummond. Oh boy. And +1 to their newly acquired Luol Deng. They are officially in the realm to now compete. +1 to Nate. His IQ is now up as the de facto point guard. It's a good sign. +3 to Sean Jackson. That's a good sign for him. Granted, he's 22, so I mean he needs to get that prog in ASAP. But A+ potential listed. That's pretty good. Shout out Cam Lopez finish offer, following in the steps of his brother. +4 for both Baker and Hickman. The very solid core for the Trailblazers. Victor Oladipo, no prog. Wow, that's disappointing. But a +3 to Steven Adams is great. +3 to Shabazz Muhammad. Oh, excuse me. Hope y'all aren't wearing headphones and just blow out your eardrums. +2 to Klay Thompson, and a bunch of +1s here. Ty Lawson, Jordan Crawford, McGee, Patty Mills, J.D. Wilkins, JaMychal Green, pretty much everybody. And only a -1 to Dirk. That is huge. Things are looking up in the Bay. The true Golden State Curry, Seth Curry, got a +2, as well as Fry. And finally, the Wizards. Thomas Robinson +3 is great. Cookie 0-5 +3. Very serviceable now. And a +1 to Darren Collison. Hopefully this will all add to a very productive rookie season for Joel Embiid. Okay, that'll do it. Start a season video next. Happy trading.